Hello friends, myself Varsha Patil from Civil Engineering Department of Saraswati College of Engineering. Today we are going to see the topic design of staircase under the subject design and drawing of reinforced concrete structure. Now starting with this topic, first of all we will try to know what is mean by staircase. Yes, it is already studied in second year, third year. We will take a review of it. So first of all, staircase. We will also see what are the bylaws that we have to consider when we think of staircase in any structure. Bylaws. Under this we will see the importance of location, aesthetic point of view, lighting and ventilation. Okay. So staircase. Yes, staircase is nothing but it is a series of steps that we provide in any building, in any structure for the purpose of to give an access between the different floors. Now under this we will see what are the bylaws. Yes, we are going to deal with mainly on design and drawing of staircase, but before going for the design we should actually know about its bylaws, its planning, because before designing part the main thing that comes in our mind is depending upon the type of building, the type of structure, how we have to provide the staircase depending upon these points, that is location, aesthetic, lighting and ventilation. So first we will start with the location. Now depending upon the type of structure or type of building, we should know that where should be the location of staircase. Now if we consider a residential building, then where should be the staircase? So definitely in any building when we think of staircase, in case of residential, we provided it in such a way that from all the corners of the floor it will have an easy access to the staircase area. Similarly, if we will think of a commercial building, or if we want to provide staircase in commercial building, then at the time we have to provide staircase such a way that it should be near to the entrance of any entrance of the structure, so that the disturbance to the entire structure will not be created due to the intermediate location, so that once we enter to the commercial building we can easily move to the respective floor where we actually want to go. Then aesthetic point of view. Yes, now depending upon again the type of structure, the type of building, we should think that the location of the staircase should be provided in such a way that it will look good in that structure, like bungalows and all. Then lighting and ventilation. Yes, whenever we provide the staircase at that time, we should think of that it will have a natural lighting and ventilation, so that the wastage of lights can be avoided. Then after this we will quickly revise what are the different types of staircase. So under this, first one is a single flight, second dogleg, and third open well staircase. Now single flight. Yes, as staircase is nothing but series of steps. Now depending upon again the type of structure, we have to decide that which type of staircase will be suitable for that type of structure. Now in case of single flight, it consists of only a single flight going in one direction only. That means we start with the ground floor, we will reach to the first floor, again it will continue in the same direction for the further floors like this. Whereas now in case of dogleg, it consists of two opposite flights separated by a distance 100 to 150 mm. This is our flight 1. We reach to the mid landing portion. This is our mid landing, and then from mid landing we reach to the floor level. So here the dogleg is consist of two opposite flights separated by a certain distance, which is considerably 100 to 150 mm. Now third one is the open well staircase. Single flight was consisting of only a one flight going in one direction. Dogleg was consisting of two flights in opposite direction, whereas open well staircase consists of three flights. Flight number 1, then here comes mid landing 1, flight number 2, then we reach to the mid landing 2. From here again the flight starts, which is nothing but flight number 3. So because of these three flights, we get some area between these flights. This area is nothing but called as core. This either can be used for the ventilation purpose, or in this area we can provide a lift portion. That means this core can be also used for the purpose of lift. So these are the types of staircase. Now after this, we will start with the actual topic of the subject, as our subject deals with the design and drawing of reinforced concrete structure. That means the staircase that we are going to use is the reinforced concrete staircase structure. So we will start with the design of it. Now as we have seen the types of staircase, now in the design part we will start with the dogleg staircase, design of staircase. In that we will cover a dogleg staircase. Before starting of this, I would also like to revise few points which are again comes under the bylaws. In that, the first one that we have already studied in BDD, that the vertical headroom between the two flights should not, two parallel flights should be minimum 2 meters. That means when these are the parallel staircase going one above the other, so the distance between, the vertical distance between these two should be minimum 2 meter or more than that. That is the headroom criteria. Now second is the rise and tread sizes, rise and tread. Now again rise and tread depends upon the type of structure, that is whether a structure is residential or commercial. So in case of residential, the riser height varies between 150 to 180 mm, whereas tread size varies between 220 to 250 mm. These are the general considerations that we have to follow whenever we design a staircase. Similarly, in case of commercial building, the riser, yes, in compared to residential, in the case of commercial building, the riser should be less than this. So, that will be around 120 to 150 mm, whereas in case of commercial, the tread portion should be more than that of residential, and that is ranges between 250 to 300 mm. Okay, so this point is regarding riser and tread. One more important point under planning of the staircase is the number of steps. So, in case of any staircase, when we provide these steps, it should not exceed 12. Now, these are the considerations are derived by the experience, which shows that there should be number of steps either 12 or less than this, because if we exceed the number of steps, it is difficult to go up. Next, the pitch, that means the inclination of the staircase. Now, again this should not be more than 38 degree. So, whenever we will plan any staircase, we have to consider these points, and depending upon this we have to plan a staircase. Now, we will quickly see regarding how to design a dogleg staircase. So, till now the points or the bylaws which we have studied, that we are going to implement in the design part also. Now, dogleg staircase we want to provide in structure. At that time, the initial requirement or the initial data which we will be having is nothing but a staircase room size. That means the length and width in which we can provide a staircase. Also, we will have a height of the floor. Now, depending upon these two conditions, we have to plan a staircase. Sometimes, depending upon the client's requirement, they may give you certain dimensions or the minimum requirements of the width of landing and all. So, depending upon that also, we have to alter our design planning of the staircase. So, these things will be given, that means the area of the staircase in which we can provide a dogleg staircase, and the floor height will be given. So, first step in the design is nothing but step number 1, functional design of staircase. Yes, as I said, I have the dimensions, that the entire length and width, I have the floor to floor height. Now, design is nothing but assumptions. First you assume certain data, but at that time we have to see the considerations or the limitations. Depending upon these limitations, we have to assume data. Later on we have to, depending upon the assumption, we will design the structure, and at the end we see whether our assumptions are correct or not with the help of different checks, right. So, now here also similarly, as I have the dimension, my assumptions start with the dimensions of riser and tread. Now, depending upon type of building and the dimension requirement or the consideration or the limitations of this riser and tread, we have to assume the dimensions of riser and tread. Now, depending upon riser and floor to floor height, we can find out how many risers we can provide. So, second, find number of risers. Yes, that we can find out with the help of floor to floor height, height of floor divided by the riser dimension that we have assumed in the range of this. Now, once we know the risers, we can find the treads, that is number of treads will be equal to number of risers minus 1. This will give us the number of treads. We have riser distance, we have tread distance. Depending upon riser, we have find out how many risers we have to provide, and after that we have find out how many treads we can provide. So, we will draw this number of treads in our plan depending upon the value which we are getting. Once we have plotted the number of treads, we can find a going distance, that is nothing but G, and this going distance is nothing but a distance between first riser and last riser. Yes, so the going will be number of treads into the tread dimension that we have assumed. So, your going distance will be equal to number of treads into the dimension of tread that we have assumed. Now, with the help of this, as we have find out the going distance, now depending upon this we can find out how much the width of landing we can provide, as we have a total length of staircase room. So, next will be width of landing, which will be total length L minus going distance, as we have 2 landings. So, we will divide it by 2, we will get the landing distance. Now, after this, now we have tread, we have riser. With the help of treads we have find out going, and with the help of total length we have also find out how much will be the width of landing. The remaining thing is how much will be the width of staircase. Now, as I told you earlier, dogleg staircase is nothing but consists of 2 flights, 2 opposite flights separated by a distance which ranges between 100 to 150 mm. So, with the help of this we can find out next the width of staircase, which will be equal to total width B minus, we will assume certain distance depending upon the dimension of the width. So, here if I am taking 100 mm, so B minus 100 divided by 2, we will get the distance of the or the dimension of the staircase width. So, this is nothing but our step number 1, which gives us the functional planning of the staircase, in which we find out, or first of all we assume the riser and tread Based upon that, we find the number of risers, which depends upon the floor height. Based upon number of riser, we find number of treads. Based upon that, we find a going distance, which is nothing but distance between the first riser and last riser. And as we have total length, we can find out how much width of landing we can provide, and since it is a dogleg staircase, we can find how much will be the width of staircase. So, this is our step number 1. Now, this was the functional planning or functional design of staircase, which gives us the general dimension of staircase room. Now, next, as it is we are dealing with a reinforced concrete structure. Now, here the main agenda of the design is to find, as it is a dogleg staircase, if we take a vertical section of the staircase of one flight, it will be like this. This is how the staircase will be provided. Okay. So, as it is reinforced concrete structure, main finding is nothing but to find depth of staircase, that is depth of called, this slab is nothing but called as waist slab. So, first of all we will find out depth of waist slab, and after this we will find out how much reinforcement is required. Reinforcement requirement, that is main steel and distribution steel. We will see this in next lecture.